Hey everyone, welcome to our Leadership Essentials community. So great to be joining you this way, new format, having a few really important conversations on what happens in church, but not just the spiritual side of church, the business of church, which is largely, I think, under-resourced and under-talked about. We love to talk about the spiritual things, but we don't always like to talk about the things that make the spiritual things happen. And so one of the things I wanted to do today is deep dive into everybody's favorite subject, which is insurance. And so the only way that I knew how to do that was to bring the best insurance guys that I know who actually have some personality that can help us understand what on earth, why does this matter? Why is it important? Why do I need to stop thinking so much about only the bottom line price tag and think about everything that's involved? Then we're also going to talk about, you've heard about this, you've thought about this, you've probably had discussions, decided you can't afford it, but we have the Churchelp Health Benefits Plan, and Michael's here to talk about all the things related to that, but not the details. We're going to talk about why this matters, how you can talk to your board about it, and some of the benefits that you're not thinking about in terms of taking care of yourself as well as taking care of your team. So welcome, guys. So glad you're here.
Thanks, Brett.
Thanks for having us.
It's going to be fun. I know that you don't believe that yet, but we're going to have a great time. I know that because I know Eric and Michael really well. Eric is a dear friend of ours, a longtime friend. Michael's a newer friend, but equally as great and dear in my heart. And I yearn to have the hairline and the mustache that Michael has. That's the honest truth. But Eric, why don't we start with you? I would love for you to share a little bit about, as pastors, because you're a local church guy. You know, you serve, eldership of your church. You're very involved, very hands-on. What's a mistake in the mindset that most pastors have, or what's a gap in our mindset when it comes to insurance? But it's not really, for me, just about insurance. It's about being good stewards.
Yes. Well, first off, I'm surprised you don't think insurance is exciting. Everybody should have just sat right up on their chair when you said that.
There's a long line of people waiting to get into this business. Yeah.
Waiting,
super excited
to talk to us. So, the one thing I find, and you and I have talked about this, is pastors are great at delegating, and they always have somebody in the office or somebody on their board looking after the insurance. Mm-hmm. And they're assuming that what the person is sourcing is the best insurance they can find. But yet when we get the calls, it's always, the pastor asked me to talk to you to see if we can save some money. Now there's places to save money, but it's not necessarily on your insurance. I use the analogy, if you were going to war, which we kind of are, and you stand up in front of your troops and tell them, I got you the absolute cheapest armor I could find, but I think it'll probably be okay when we go into battle. And that's really what the insurance is. It needs to be a foundational part of what you're doing, because when you need it, that's not the time to find out that, we didn't think that was important, or worse, you assume you have the coverage and you find out you don't. And that's not a positive conversation between your broker or your board to find out we've got $1 million loss that there's no insurance for, and now we've got to do a special offering.
Yeah. So
that's been the biggest challenge I've seen, is people, they look at it as a cost, not an investment.
Right. Can we maybe demystify some of the different elements of insurance? So what I mean by that is, so you're a broker. So what could you help us understand what it is that a broker would do, the advantage to having a great broker? I'll share some personal stories after kind of you share with my personal experience, but just to say, hey, this is what a broker is, because I think people get confused of that's my insurer. You work for the insurer. Well, no, I don't work for the insurer. So could you maybe break that down a little bit?
to be honest, Brett, I don't think most brokers know what brokers do.
I have to agree with that.
Brokers are to represent their client to the insurance industry. Unfortunately, because we're paid a commission on what we place with the insurance companies, a lot of brokers have gotten off track and they're carrying the banner of the insurance company. I've been doing this over 40 years, and I learned very early on from my original mentors that if we look after our clients well, we'll never have an issue. And when I talk to people, we look at what you need. What is the biggest risks your organization has, and a good broker will be engaged in what you do and how you do it. It's not a once a year phone call, who should I send the invoice to? It's understanding your business, understanding your ministries, so that then they can properly place coverage and find the stuff you need. Unfortunately, most brokers, I don't know if the word don't understand it or have never been taught it properly.
Right.
It's like when a claim happens. I'm in the middle of majority of the claims that come through our office because my relationship's with you.
Yeah.
Your relationship isn't with the insurance company or the adjuster they assign. So it's my reputation that's on the line. Most brokers just pass it off to the 800 number and, well, I hope it works out good for you, Brett. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah.
And that's not the role. And that's why, it's funny when people go shopping for insurance, the qualifier is who's the cheapest.
Yeah.
But when you're hiring a key member of your team, you actually do some interviewing. You do some checking. You talk to other people that have worked with them.
Yeah.
Well, when you're putting the entire asset base of your organization on the line with one person, shouldn't you do a little bit of interviewing and a little bit of checking and find out, are they reputable? Do they know what they're doing? What have other people had for experience?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know in my industry, or on my side of the insurance industry with the health and life insurance side, again, we're the advocates of the client to the insurance company. If there's a claim, whether it's like a disability claim, a life insurance claim, and unfortunately, more often than not, we're finding ourselves having to get in and fight for the client because whether it's a lack of training, but more often than not, these things are being denied off of the initial look because people don't know what they're doing anymore. So you can't really trust the insurance company. And I shouldn't say that too loud because
I 100%.
they do pay us, but it's a battle to make sure that the client is being treated fairly. And what also we see is that the whole point of having a broker is to be able to see what products are out there with other carriers. You're not just going direct to, for instance, you're not going directly to a Sun Life and getting only their product offering, because there's other carriers out there, and maybe for your industry, one carrier might be better than the other. And these days we're seeing brokers kind of just aligning with one carrier, putting all their business with the one guy and not actually performing the function of a broker and seeing what else is out there. They're just going to the carrier that's giving them the best deal or whatever it might be. We're not seeing that the marketing going on the way that it used to. So it's
absolutely,
it's unfortunate, but that's what a broker is supposed to do. We're supposed to be out there showing you what's available, not just sticking you with one product, and defending you to the insurance company to make sure that the big guys aren't just pushing around the little guys who are the clients, essentially.
Right. I love that. So, Michael, I came to you, I don't know, a couple of years ago now with this dream. How do we put together a group to help pastors, particularly smaller church pastors that are kind of out there doing it alone? Insurance is expensive. Healthcare insurance is expensive for them because there's one of them. Mm-hmm. They're in a remote area, all these types of things. And you said, well, okay, maybe.
It took a while to get it sorted and to find carriers that wanted to work with us. Again, if I had just gone to one carrier, we would have had to know, would have been the answer right off the get-go. But, we work with the several different carriers and found one that was excited about the program and willing to work with us on it, and figured that, what we had was a great idea. And we do have a great idea. When you have one or two employees or three employees, even under 5 employees, certain benefits aren't available to you because you wouldn't be able to afford it as a small business, like disability insurance, which is, in my mind, income replacement is irreplaceable. It's probably the most important benefit that's out there. If something were to happen to you and you were unable to go back to work and earn an income, what are you going to do? The government's not going to take care of you.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll give you a couple of dollars here and there, but with the way things are right now, like, you're not going to be able to pay your bills and get groceries. So you're looking at one or the other. With income replacement, we're making sure that at least you're able to keep your head above water while you're unable to get back, or unable to work while you're working towards getting back to work. And we've now made that accessible to all the small guys who are joining the program. As you get larger, your risk is spread out more, so you're able to offer lower rates for the same things. We quoted one group that was interested in coming onto the program recently with 5 employees, 7 employees maybe. And for them to get, what we were offering in the enhanced package, it was like $300 or $400 a month more for a family than what we're able to provide it for, because we have, I think, 70 members now or whatever it might be. So as we grow, these things are getting more affordable. We're able to help out the smaller guys, get them onto the program and keep them on the program because it's not going to be cost restrictive. It's going really well. We're growing month by month, adding people every couple of weeks. It's been a lot of fun.
It's pretty amazing to see the impact across Canada. And I'm on the pastoral side, right? And the stories that I hear before this plan were, hey, I have to pick which of my kids is going to go to the dentist because of, who's got the biggest bill, and we've got to make this fit within our budget because we've got to pay out of pocket, or, or the church is unknowingly committing tax fraud by just paying those expenses, and then that's taxable. So there's all kinds of things that are happening. I love, so one of our actually families that joined the plan, one of the ministers joined the plan, literally is over the moon because he could take all of his daughters to the dentist. And you're you think that's you don't even think about it,
granted, right?
It's crazy.
But he's everyone could go and get whatever they needed, and I didn't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
It's yeah. That's the idea of this plan. And sometimes I think we don't realize how simple and personal it can be. Now, we're opening it up also to church and Christian affiliated businesses,
as long as they're members of Churchelp Ministry. Yes.
So we've got our Churchelp. So if you are a business and you're a Christian business that you want to help the local church, and you want incredible benefits for your business that are competitive and are probably honestly going to beat what you're on right now, you join Churchelp as a member, which is very simple, and we'll get there once you fill out the form and do all this stuff. But you and your business can actually join, and just having your business join is helping make health benefits more affordable for churches all across Canada, which I think is a pretty cool thing.
Absolutely.
That businesses can do. You say, hey, I own this business, I'm a part of a church. Not only are you getting killer benefits, but you're helping build the church in Canada by simply doing something that you're already doing, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest that if you have 20 employees, even 30 employees or less, we're going to be beating your costs on that already. And if you have more than that, then you're going to be helping us bring the rates down for everybody else.
Yeah.
You're already providing benefits. Like you said, why not provide benefits and also give back to the church while you're doing it, and help, pastors that may not have been able to afford healthcare benefits, may not have been able to afford to go, like you said, take their family to the dentist.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And it's going to save you down the road when you have to get, when you're in your 40s or whatever, and all of a sudden you're getting hit with a $60,000 bill when you go to the dentist because you need to get surgery because you didn't go when you were younger, because your parents couldn't afford it. Right. So, I mean, we're helping out a lot of the smaller people that weren't able to afford those sort of things. The cost of drugs are going up significantly. And like you had mentioned before, what we've heard through this process is a lot of churches are just we pay out of pocket for our employees' dental or drug costs or whatever. They just give us a receipt. Well, That's not necessarily the best thing to be doing, especially nowadays. Like, it seems like everybody's looking for a reason to take away the non-taxable status of churches. And committing tax fraud might not be the best way to avoid that.
We are not providing legal advice.
No.
Yeah, no. and obviously it's on a small scale, right? Like, it's nothing to really be too concerned about, but it is something to have in the back of your mind. Like, you know what, if we did get an audit and all of a sudden, you know, those employees are going to have to pay more in tax because they're going to have to declare that as a taxable benefit. And the church might, you know, have some repercussions for it as well. The other thing that nobody really thinks about is there's the disability portion. So, you know, if an employee comes to you, was in a car accident off-site, it wasn't a workers' comp kind of thing, they're not able to come to work anymore, is the church going to hand them over, you know, $5,000, $6,000 a month to pay their bills? Maybe, but probably not. If an employee was to be killed in a car accident, is the church going to give the family $50,000 or depending on which program they're out, maybe $250,000, which they would have been entitled to if they were on the program? Like, those are things that I don't think are really thought of. When they think of health benefits, they just think of the drugs and the dental. They're not thinking of the travel insurance that's on there as well.
Actually, the travel for pastors, that's really important. So you're going on a mission trip, you're going somewhere else. We've got great travel. Yeah,
for 90 days. The moment you leave the province, not just out of country, but out of province, you're covered for 90 days. And the moment that you step back into the province, that resets. Obviously don't go to places, maybe like, I don't know, Israel or Palestine right now. Anywhere that has a travel advisory saying don't go because there's a war, we're probably not going to cover you there. But for the most part, anywhere is good to go.
Yeah, don't head to Venezuela.
Don't go there either yet. No, not a good time.
So Eric, we recently here, you advised us to switch companies that we had coverage with.
Yes.
You went through a whole process. You said, hey, you know, I'm looking at everything. There was a cost savings involved, but that wasn't the main thing. I don't think it was the predominant thing. I think there's like customer service. There's just different things. So when you're evaluating, let's say someone's coming up for renewal, you're the broker. What are you looking at? And then how are you looking to advise, you know, clients? Because I mean, that saved us significantly. A simple move that we would have been just stayed with the same guys.
And you had been with them quite a while. But like everything else, COVID was rough on the insurance industry. We lost about 40% of the people. And they're still rebuilding in a lot of areas. And the biggest one is claims. And what we had seen with one specific insurance company is they had no claims people left on the ground in Alberta. And so it was all going to independent adjusters, and we'd had some issues on getting claims paid in a timely fashion. And plus, every 3 years, we go to market regardless, just to make sure that where the pricing is, or if you do a major change, you do a renovation where the building values have suddenly increased, we will go to market then as well. And that's what we did. Is it was time for the Saints program to go to market. And we had one specific insurer who we use a lot that had wanted more faith-based business. So when we sent everything to them, it was significant. And so is their claim service, significantly better than the other one. So it was a win-win all around. But honestly, if the premiums had been the same on both, we still would have recommended the change because it's the claim service that to us is one of the biggest factors. And because it's our reputation on the line, but it's also you as the senior pastor and the leadership team. If you've got a portion of your building that's sitting unusable, we had one that there was a roof issue, and literally their entire children's wing sat empty for 8 months while the insurance company was getting around to sending an engineer. I didn't insure them at the time. I took over the claim for them when they came to me, and we got some things moving. But for 8 months, their children's wing sat empty waiting on service from the insurance company. And to me, that's not acceptable.
That's wild. What I can say is, you know, I think Eric always knows that we're in trouble when he gets a phone call from me at like 4:30 on a Friday. He's like, yes. It's not even like hello. It's like shift to work mode. Yeah. What did you do now?
Who are you with and what's going on?
But here's the amazing thing. I can call you and you're going to pick up the phone.
Yes.
And I don't think that's an experience that most people get. Like, same with Michael. When you're working with, whether it's Eric, All Insurance, Michael, and then the Churchelp Benefits Plan, like, you can just call and real people will talk to you and pick up the phone.
Yeah, that's one thing that we kind of pride ourselves on. I feel like you're probably the same way.
Yeah.
It kind of differentiates us from other advisors out there because, you can call their office and maybe, and that being said, don't call my office because no one will be there. I'm always on my cell phone. But that's the number to call.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's a lot of guys that aren't passing out their personal cell phone numbers because, it's just not how things are done anymore. But I mean, I came up in the time when cell phones were just kind of hitting the scene. When I turned like 18, I think is when people started getting cell phones, and it's just how it's always been.
Yeah. We used to carry a brick.
Yeah.
Remember?
We're that's one of the biggest things that I believe in is being the person that you reach out to when you have an issue. Not, I mean, like for instance, if you're with the carrier, don't reach out to the carrier. Call me. Yeah. The carrier, whoever you get, might have been on the job for a week. They might not have the right answers. It might make things way more confusing. It's a lot easier just to take care of it myself. And
well, both of us have worked at other places.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was with the largest broker in Canada, 5th largest in the world. But they put a priority, in my opinion, more on the bottom line than they did on customer service. And if something happened and it wasn't between 8:30 and 4:30, you couldn't get a hold of anybody. There was no after-hours claim service, and very seldom do things happen in my world between 8:30 and 4:30 on a Monday to Friday.
100%.
And consequently, 3 years ago, I guess now, I made the decision to move to a smaller brokerage with a stronger focus on customer service, much like you guys being family now.
Yeah, we're just a family-run brokerage. There's just 3 of us in the office at this point. We kind of take a hands-on approach with our clients ourselves. We want to make sure that we're the first call.
Yes.
Don't waste your time being on hold for half an hour with the customer service. We'll take care of it for you. And that's, again, it separates us from the large corporate conglomerate.
You're not phoning a call center and having to explain who you are and where your coverage is. And we already know that.
The way that we find things is that our business excels and grows and does better when we are actually focusing on the client relationship.
Yep. Exactly.
As opposed to the bottom line. When we're not picking up the phone or because we're too busy or we've stretched ourselves too thin, like we're at the point where, if a client or a potential client calls in and it just doesn't seem to be a great fit, we're not going to say yes because we don't want to stretch ourselves too thin. We want to be present and be available for our existing client base, and that's our priority.
That's good. Yeah.
As opposed to just trying to increase profit as much as possible. Like at some point you just have to say, okay, let's pump the brakes here and make sure we're providing quality. Quantity will come, but make sure that we're able to provide the best service that we can through communication and being the
and
first
building the relationships.
Exactly.
And while we're talking about insurance, just for a moment, if you're in the Leadership Essentials community, this is leadership gold, because while we are in the people business and we are, taking care of people, I think we can get into seasons in church leadership where you're focused on the metrics, on the growth, the numbers, and the butts in the seats, the dollars in the offering basket, all those other things. And if you're worried about growth, worry about people, and just make sure you got the systems and structures to handle it. So, Eric, I think a lot of churches are probably underinsured.
Yes.
I'm just guessing. Yes. I don't know. I'm like,
building values have gone up astronomical. And I've talked to a number of churches in the last year that literally they're 25 to 50% underinsured on their buildings. Wow. I highly recommend that churches are getting appraisals done every 3 years. As a board, you have a fiduciary responsibility. That's a legal responsibility to properly protect the assets of your organization. So the easiest way to do that is spend the money. It costs you a little bit, but then you know that you're insuring to the right value. And to me, that removes that onus to ensure that you have the right values in place, and then you know where your insurance levels need to be.
Can you talk to us about the consequences of being underinsured?
Yes. And it sounds confusing, but it's not. It's really simple. If you only carry half as much insurance as you should, they're only going to pay half your claim. It's not like, well, we have $5 million of insurance, and we probably won't have a claim that big. When they come in and they look at a building, if the adjuster is even concerned about the value, they will call in a professional appraiser, and they will evaluate what you had value-wise and then compare it to the policy. And if you're not within 80 to 90% of what that proper value is, you will suffer a co-insurance penalty. So when they figure out your claim, not only will they take your deductible off, then you have a co-insurance penalty, and then you get a check that is far below what you're going to have to spend to rebuild or replace what was damaged.
Right, and this is on any claim.
Any claim. Every claim has a co-insurance clause. Now, the great thing is, when you get an appraisal done, then we remove the co-insurance clause and we do what's called stated amount. So it's not even a conversation anymore. If there's a loss, it's just a matter of how do we get you back into operation as fast as possible.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, let's do this. What's the best way to get in touch with either of you? Eric, you're with All Insurance. Michael, JT Moland. What's the best way to reach out, to connect? Obviously, we've got Churchelp Health Benefits Plan, but maybe there's other things that people want to look at with you, Michael. Also, Eric, with you. How do we get in touch?
Email, phone. We can provide a link to both. Like I said, phone is probably the best way. My cell phone, just give me a call. I look forward to having a chat with anyone that has any questions. Aside from the Churchelp group benefit program, we do a lot of individual financial planning, retirement planning, life insurance for anybody who's interested in that fun stuff. I know it's also very exciting to chat about, but reach out. Email, phone is best way. We do have a link in the Churchelp website. If you're interested in the benefit program as well, you can kind of submit your inquiries in there. We aim to follow up within 24 hours while it's still fresh in your minds.
Yeah. So if you want more information about the Churchelp Health Benefits Plan, go to churchhelp.co.co, then hit the health benefits button, fill out the form. Michael's going to be in touch.
Yeah, and I'm basically the same. I spend more time in the front seat of my truck than I do anywhere else. Yeah. So it's email or phone. My website's just ericmoland.ca, and there's a link there with all my information, and pretty straightforward.
Everyone who's a part of the Leadership Essentials community would recognize your face because your face is on the top banner of our email. So if you just click Eric's face, and if you're feeling upset one day, just click extra hard. If you need more help, double click, and we'll get you right to Eric's contact page, and you'll get everything that you need. Guys, thank you so much for taking some time to demystify this a little bit. Listen, if you're watching this and you have more questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to either Eric or Michael. I wanted to have this conversation because I think a lot of us are just not entirely aware of things that are really important. And you can't be educated about everything. So a great leader is not the smartest person in the room. A great leader is somebody who puts together a table that's full of all the smartest people that they can find for different areas. We've got two of the smartest people in the room that I could find on these subjects, and they are available to help you and to help grow your church, grow your ministry. So we love you. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining Leadership Essentials.